Damn hustling, 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 hustling,
It's
hustling,
your boy,
hustling,
Ski.
hustling, 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 hustling.
Oh, welcome back to the Matrix. You're not just in the Matrix, you are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today we got ourselves a banger daily market news analysis. TikTok, I'm giving you one chance, only because my phone is dead. That's the only reason you're getting a chance. If you do some dumb stuff today, I promise you, we're not doing this type of stream for the next 6 months. So you guys better act right. You better act right. I'm telling you right now. I'm not on the BS today. I'm going to give you one chance. If this goes well, we might continue to do this. If you guys act dumb, there is no more chart streams on TikTok for the next 6 months, period. Just put that out there right now. All right. What's up, everyone? Make sure you guys are spamming the like button, hitting the share so other people can spam the like button. We got ourselves a banger today because I'm seeing lots of stuff going. I was just working on a video. I didn't quite get it done, but I didn't want to push back the live stream. But I'll upload this video later. But about the Death Cross. So I decided to go back and look at the last 10 years of data and see, was it bearish? Was it bullish? We looked at all of them, and what I found was there was eight different death crosses since 2015 for Bitcoin. And this is about to be the 9th one. And so we're going to go through this. We're going to talk about what does this mean, because there's a lot of negative connotation with this. But what does the actual data tell us? What does the actual data lead us to believe? Because, you know, on my channel, we're all about data, logic, reason. We're not about feelings, narratives, and connotations. Redemption says, what's up, bag holders? The only bag holder is you. I took profit. Sup, Ski? Solnik's up 11% today. I know, Solnik is doing very, very well. I don't know. Redemption. Yeah. No, that's a silly thing to say. I bought in December over aggressively. I borrowed money. I went too hard in December. I wasn't buying in 2022. That's a statement of those things. Come on now. All right, let's go through it. Let's go through the dreaded Death Cross. What does it actually mean? What does it actually mean? All right, so let's go through the first one. The first Death Cross, we're going to go through it one by one. And I'm going to let you guys, I'm not going to sway you what to think. I'm going to give you the data, and you're going to come up with your own conclusions on your own. Okay? So the first Death Cross that Bitcoin had was September 13th, 2015. Okay? From this moment in time, so here's the moment. Bitcoin went down another. In the video, I said 1.5%, but that's not even accurate. It only went down another 0.88% before going off another leg higher. So that's one for the bulls. Also, it was 30 days before it took another leg higher, and it went up another 1x. 30 days before it went up another 1x. That's one for the bulls. So that's a Death Cross. Only 1% lower total before going up an entire 1x. That's definitely one for the bulls. So that's 2015. That's one of the 8. Okay, so keep score. Keep score. Keep score, everyone. One Death Cross. 1 out of 8 Death Crosses so far is bullish. Keep score, everyone. All right, the second Death Cross that we had, and I would say that this one was probably the best case for the bears right here. This one was the best case for the bears. This one, the Death Cross, was March 19th, 2018. That was the Death Cross. And I would say that this is probably the best argument for the bears. Only one issue, though, is it was already at a local bottom. And in fact, we did not take this low out over here for an additional 200 days. Okay, so I want to show you one thing Bitcoin was already down 67% by the time the death cross actually happened. This was a local bottom before going on another 59% to the upside. And then it took 231 days before a new low was made, and it only went down 50%. Most of it was already behind it. This, I would say, is the absolute best for the bears, and it took 231 days to make a new low. 231 days for the best case for the bears. So this is number 2. So we got the scoreboard. 1 bear, 1 bull. Let's do it right here. We're going to keep score right here. Let me do my little marker thing. All right, we got bull, bear. We got 1 for the bulls, 1 for the bears. Okay. Let's continue. The third time it happened was right here. The third death cross that we got was October 25th, 2019. And I'm going to be honest, this was neutral. Okay? So this was right before the C19 crash. We did go 20% lower, 27% lower, but we also went 17% higher. This one was just choppy. I'm going to say that this one was neutral. This one was neither bearish nor bullish. This one was neutral. So we're not going to count this one for the bulls or the bears. So we got bulls, bears, 1 bullish, 1 bearish, and we'll do 1 neutral. 1 for the bears, 1 for the bulls, 1 for neutral. C19 was the 4th time that we had a death cross for Bitcoin. Okay. This one absolutely was face-meltingly bullish. Can you please answer a question for me? Sure. Let me finish this, though. Because I want you guys to have the correct information so that you can make decisions by yourself and not be swayed by emotions and by fearful things like death cross. Death cross. Okay, so the 4th time was absolutely the most bullish. So the C19 crash was already behind the death cross. It was already up 80% to the death cross. Did not go a second lower ever to this day. To this day, did not go lower. And went on to do a 10x. This one was face-meltingly bullish. So if you're keeping track, that's 1 for neutral, 2 for the bulls, and 1 for the bears. And I'm being very liberal. It took 231 days before it actually made a new low. That one really should be neutral, but we're going to give it to the bears. We're going to give it to the bears. We're going to give it to the bears. Which brokerage are you using? BitUnex. BitUnex is the brokerage I'm using. Okay, the 5th time that we had a death cross. Again, we did not go a second lower. This is the 5th time that we had a death cross. Here's the date. Right here. This local bottom. June 20th, 2021. We did not go a second lower. We went on to do a I can't even see. What is this? A 1.4x. This is when Altseason happened, by the way. And we did not make a new low for 329 days. So this one absolutely is a bull one. Did not go a second lower for 329 days. Went on to do an additional 1.4x. So that's the 5th death cross. 3 of them have been bullish. 1 has been bearish. And 1 has been neutral. Okay. The 6th Death Cross, I would say, is a bear death cross. This one actually marked the end of it. Okay? So where were we? Right here. It was also a local bottom, though. So January 16, 2022, it took 9 days before we made a new low. We went 20% lower and inevitably went on to do another 60% to the downside. This one is the best case for the bears. This one happened pretty quickly. Now, you did get from this low right here, you did get a 40% move to the upside. So really, I mean, 60% downside, 40% upside. We'll give it to the bears, though. This one was absolutely bearish. So 2 for the bears, 3 for the bulls, 1 neutral. Number 7, Death Cross, was right here. The war in Israel did not go a second lower to this day. To this day, we have not went a second lower. Immediately broke out 30 days later. Immediately went within 180 days, did a 2x. Never went a second lower. To this day. Absolutely bullish. All right, number 8, Death Cross, was right after Germany and Mt. Gox was selling their Bitcoin. And again, the local bottom was already in. This was actually Japan. I said Germany. This was right after the Japan fiasco, we'll call it. The Death Cross was August 10th, 2024. Again, the bottom was already in. We did not go a second lower. From the Death Cross, it took us 80 days before we broke out higher and went on to do another 1x. Again, 1 for the bulls. That's wrong. There we go. So if you're keeping score, and Bitcoin's 10-year, literally 10 years of data, the Death Crosses, all of them, except for one, marked a local bottom. One of them took 231 days before it went any lower. I gave it to the bears just to be nice. Just to help them out. You know, they're on their last leg here. I gave that one to the bears. So we had 2 that were bearish, 5 that were actually bullish, a local bottom, before going to another leg higher within the next 90 days. 5 times that happened. 1x move after the Death Cross, and 1 that was neutral and choppy. So there you go. My estimation, this one, personal opinions, at worst case, it's this one right here, which was a bear trap before doing a 1.4x and having your Altseason. But in reality, I think it's more like this one right here. Lagging. Bitcoin need to weekly close above 82.6. Do you think the bottom's in potential bear market? It's not in a bear market. No. The bottom is in. Structural bottom. Can we wick lower? Sure. We can. The structural bottom is in, though. The 76K is, this is your selling climax to me. Your selling climax is right here at 78K, and this is your secondary test in Wyckoff accumulation. We might get a spring, but this relatively, when we look back a year, I'm going to call that the bottom. However long it takes, we'll look back in a year and say that that was the bottom. So there you go. Now I can put all your fears and worries away from the Death Cross. You're going to start hearing a lot about it on Twitter. You're going to start hearing a lot about it on TikTok. I just told you. There's been 8 Death Crosses in the last 10 years. 5 of them were bullish. 5 of them, the bottom was already in, and we went on to do a 1x in 90 days. Within 90 days. 5. 1 was neutral. 2 were bearish. One of the two took 231 days before it made a new low. It wasn't even really bearish, but I'm giving it to the bears. The death cross has not happened yet, but it will be in the next probably few days, maybe like a week or two. No, we have not crossed yet. I'm just putting it out there preemptively to just like alleviate anxiety off the rip. How many were in bull run years? I don't know. I don't know if you would count these two. This one, you would say 1, 2, depending if you count 8 or not. I don't know if you count 8 or not. About half. You could definitely count 2. About half of them. Are you saying that the bottom of the bear market has not started yet, Richard? Richard, the bear market has not started yet. I just made a video. 5 reasons the bear market has not started yet. Reason number 1, in order to have a bear market, you need to go below the 50-week moving average. We are not below the 50-week moving average. That's number 1. Number 2, for a bear market to start, Bitcoin dominance cannot be in the 60s. That's not real. That's never happened. That never will happen. It doesn't need to be in the 30s, but it's not going to be in the 60s on a straight line for the past 2 years off the Valhalla. That's not real. Reason number 3, in order to start a bear market, you must cross the 2-week 20 EMA and backtest it as resistance. We have not even crossed it yet. We have not even crossed it yet. I say again, we have not even crossed it. The bear market has not started. Okay, this red line, you must cross it and then backtest it as resistance. That will signify a bear market. We have not even crossed it. We have not even crossed it, ladies and gentlemen. Look, you crossed it over here, but you don't backtest it as resistance. It's not a bear market. You tell them. What are your thoughts on investing in Bitcoin now? That depends on your time horizon. I think personally, I just told you. Listen, let me know of a bear market. Please, enlighten me. Enlighten me. I would like to learn. Enlighten me, friends. Enlighten me of a bear market that has ever started, ever, one time, with the fear and greed being in the 20s. It was just at 15. For perspective, FTX went to 0. At the bottom. This is how a bottom comes in, not a top. Let me know of a bear market that starts like that. Let me know. One time that has happened. One time. Well, yes, Bitcoin dominance, in my opinion, is working on distribution. This is one of the reasons why the bear market has not started yet. Because in order for a bear market to start, Bitcoin dominance cannot be on a straight line to Valhalla. That's not real. That's not real. Where's my Bitcoin dominance chart? I think that Bitcoin dominance is working on distribution. That's what I think. And I'm going to show you a distribution chart. In my opinion, this is your buying climax, your automatic reaction. Your up thrust, and we might get a UTAD. It looks like we're going to get a UTAD. But ultimately, this is going to waddle its way off like this. That's what I think. And here is the textbook structure of what distribution looks like. Hold on one second. Here you go. Here's textbook. So buying climax, automatic reaction, up thrust. We've gotten this. Are we going to get a UTAD or are we going to get an LPS? I don't know. That's the variable. We're somewhere in here for Bitcoin dominance. Probably closer to phase C. That's textbook. Come on now. That's textbook. All seasons cancel forever. Yeah. What do you say about backtesting? The one thing that confirms a bear market every time is on the 2-week chart. So 2 weeks. Every candle is 2 weeks. This right here. This is the 20 EMA. Not only do you need to get below the 20 EMA, but you need to come up and backtest it as resistance. That is confirmation of a bear market. We are not even below it yet. So if we get a move like that, this is the bear market. Absolutely. We are not even below it yet. Understand? Solnick is ripping. Come on now. Full on bullish posture right here. That's a clean breakout. If I ever breakout back test. Come on now. Markdown, breakout, back test of the prior range and the 200. Come on now. I don't draw them up like this too much. That's about as clean as it gets. Daily's looking even better. That's about as clean as it gets. Will April be bullish? Yes, I just made a video. Buy. Seems like alt season already happened. Does it though? Does alt season happen with Bitcoin dominance going off to Valhalla in a straight line? Let me show you where we're at. Let me show you exactly where we're at. Let me show you exactly where we're at. You might be asking yourself, has there ever been a moment, Ski? Has there ever been a moment, ever, that the altcoins were at their bear market lows during this stage? Has that ever happened, Ski? It feels so different this time. I don't know. How about last time? How about in 2021? How about in 2021? On the top, I have Bitcoin. This is what we talked about. Here's the preface. In 2022, I talked many a times saying that Bitcoin in the bear market should be your biggest position, in my opinion, because it will come down the least and it will absolutely go up first. All right, so first of all, here on the top we have Bitcoin, and on the bottom we have the total 3, which is what I would measure as the altcoins. And I want to show you on the same time frame how flat the total 3 was and how close to the bear market lows it was. It wasn't until this bear trap with Bitcoin goes on to do another 1x. By the way, that's about what I think is left for Bitcoin. Bitcoin might do another 1x from here. It might go to 138K. It might go to $207,000 if we're lucky. It does a 1.35x from this moment, from this bear trap right here. What does the total market cap, total 3 do? I don't know. Has there ever been a moment? I don't know. When we're at the bear market lows? I don't know. How about last cycle? But it's different, Ski. What about the economic conditions? Bear markets do not start with Bitcoin dominance being on a straight line off to Valhalla. That is not real. Do you understand? Also, look at the monthly chart. The seasonality chart. What is the most bullish month that exists in crypto? There's 2 of them. What month are we going into? Buy the rumor, sell the news, Ski. That's what you do when it's bullish. When there's a bullish news event, if there's every yin, there's a yang. The most bullish month in crypto is what month? Please, let me know. This is 10 years of data. This isn't cherry picking. 10 years of data. Years of data. The most bullish month in crypto is what? Yeehaw! Thank you for the hat and mustache. April. The average return on it. Let me turn up my fan. Let me turn up my fan, y'all. The average return on investment. We're lagging on YouTube too? Or just TikTok? Hold on. I should have restarted my stream. Or my... Hold on. Let me try to turn up my fans. Let's see if that helps. Let's see if that helps. They said we're not lagging on YouTube. Turn up my fan. Second most. It's the second most. That's right. Buy the rumor, sell the news. That's what you do when it's a bullish event, right? That's why I think the top will actually be when they really pass the Bitcoin strategic reserve. Buy the rumor, sell the news. That's what you do when it's bullish. So what would be the opposite of that? When it's bearish? Sell the rumor, buy the event. What's the event that we have? In 2 days, 3 days, 2 days. What event do we have? Are we pumping into this event or are we dumping into this event? Let me know. The event is April 2nd. I would be very worried right now. Honest to God, I would be worried if we were pumping today and yesterday. I'd be very, very worried right now if we were pumping into. But the fact is we went from 76K to 88K. That's 2 years of stock market gains. We did that in 16 days. 16 days, Bitcoin just did 2 years of stock market gains. That's how you need to keep this perspective. So having a back test, dumping into the event, makes me very good. Makes me feel very, very good about where we're at right now. I would be worried right now if we were pumping into the tariffs. I would be very, very worried. But we are not pumping into the tariffs. The most bullish month would be April and November. That is correct. That's 10 years of data. The average return on investment in April for Bitcoin is 38.6%. That's about 5 years of stock market gains. That's the average return for Bitcoin. The average return for Bitcoin. November, the average is 40.1%. Just closed Orange Hub and it's better now. Okay, good. Ski, we're going to miss the blow off top bull run. What % chance? I think we're going to get a distribution is what I think. I think we're going to get distribution on like healthy distribution. I don't think we're going to get a pin link. Some coins will do that. But generally, I think we're going to get a nice round distribution. Just like we got over here. This took a year. All right. Let's get into your guys' comments, questions, concerns. What will AVAX do? I think AVAX is going to do really good. $200 to $300. Can you say something about Solnic? Just got another soul put into Solnic, hoping for a dip. Solnic's ripping, man. Solnic is my number one 100x play. It has a very clean breakout. One of the cleanest breakouts that it's about as clean as it gets, boys. Solnic's my number one 100x play. Every bottom has more than doubled from the last, meaning 100% gains from bottom to bottom. Some of them were 300% or more. Not only has it been making higher highs for a year, it's been making higher lows for a year. Every bottom has been double the last. This bottom was a 3x. This bottom to this bottom was a 1x. This bottom to this bottom was a 3x. The last time I talked about TAR, we're not going to talk about TARs on this channel, because the last time we did it on TikTok, you guys wanted to be a bunch of... Listen, if it does it again, we will not be streaming my my stream. We'll just be doing it on the phone. You'll get a BS little phone, and that's it for the next 6 months. I don't like the TARS chart. What's your take on Sui? Seems like with got plans for ETF. I don't like Sui. Sui has too much inflation for me. I think it's a good value. Let's do Sui. I've been bearish publicly since November on Sui. I've been actively shorting Sui since November. Okay? That's not like every single, I have been on one trade. I've been in multiple different trades since November shorting Sui. Publicly. So I started being bearish over here. That's when I started being bearish. Sui went on to do another 20% to the upside. 33%, excuse me. So I was bearish during all of this top. It went higher. People were like, aha, nana boo boo. And then Sui went down another 64% from the top. I've been bearish since November on Sui. I'm still... Now, in the macro, I don't believe in Sui that much as far as an investment. I think the technology is great as far as an investment. And the reason is price equals not what you do, not who you know, not what ETFs you have, supply plus demand. That's what price equals. Supply plus demand. Say it with me. Price equals supply plus demand. Okay? Let's look at Sui's FDV versus their market cap. Their market cap right now is $7.53 billion, and their FDV is $23.75 billion. What does that mean? That means that they are dumping supply on your head, and you have an uphill battle. Now, in the short term, I think that Sui is actually a pretty good value, and I think it's broken the downtrend. That's what I think. I think it's broken the downtrend, and it's a decent value in the short term. I think it will get to about $7. That's what I think. What's the exact moment when we should prepare for the bear market? If Bitcoin dominance starts falling like crazy, if we get below the 50-week moving average, if fear and greed gets in the 90s, if we get below the 2-week 20 EMA and back tested as resistance, those are all signs. We have 0 of 4 things happening right now. I promise I will warn you. That doesn't mean I'm going to be right, and I will probably be painfully wrong. As far as I'll probably miss a good 20-30% action, and it's going to be so exciting, and I'm going to be bearish during that whole time. That's probably what's going to happen. Because that's how I was with Sui. That's how I was with Pinlink. That's how I was with a lot of different coins. I was bearish early, not the exact time. Right? I was bearish 20% early. I'm in Cetus Dex for Sui and Aptos. Now, I do think that the ecosystem of these coins, I think, could feel. That's a different question than asking about the actual base coin. Why is Sonic pumping so hard? Because it's my number one 100x play. We have one of the biggest partnerships secured in existence. 2 billion impressions per month. 2 billion impressions per month. A media company with 2 billion impressions per month is partnered with Solnic. Right now we're working on pre-staking a stable coin. Quant in April. I think Quant in April will do very well. Tony H bar has more inflation than XLM. Do I like Quant? I like Quant. Can you explain why you have different views on H bar and XLM? I don't mind XLM. I like XLM. What is different about them? Retail is right. We're going lower. Let me know another time where retail was right, Joseph. Give me one time in the last 100 years where retail was right, please. Thoughts on Radium and Injective? Radium has a lot of inflation. I don't know about Injective. How low will Bitcoin go before a vicious V? I think the bottom was 76K. That's what I think. That's what I've been saying for a month now. For a month now. Now, listen, you got to understand when I say a bottom, and I'm going to put this up real quick. When I say a bottom, what I'm not saying is that we can't wick lower. Oh my God. All right. TikTok, you are done. You are done for 6 months. On my mama. On my mama. You are done. All right. I tried to give you a chance. I genuinely tried to give you a chance. But somebody is viciously wrecked, and they needed to go lower. That's what it is. Somebody is viciously wrecked, and they needed to go lower. Is what's happening. All right, that's it. That's it for the next 6 months. You have lost your privileges for the next 6 months. I tried to give you a chance. I tried to give you a chance. But you guys want to act stupid. You guys want to act dumb. It's a privilege, not a right. You need to understand. It is a privilege, not a right. I am not retail TikTok. I am not retail crypto. There are popular channels and there are those that are correct. Know the difference. All right, let me submit this real quick, because what I don't want is to not have. Give me 1 second, guys. So, yeah, you guys are done for 6 months. I'm not playing. I told you at the beginning of the live stream, and I am done. 6 months. What is today? March 30th. September 30th, 2025. That's when you guys get your stuff back from me. We're not doing it. You're going to get a crappy phone experience on TikTok until then. Hold on 1 second. Does not violate community guidelines. All right. That's it for you guys. You guys are done. William Watson jealous of your TikTok streams, is he? What happened to TikTok? People are idiots. That's what happened. People are face-meltingly wrecked, and they want confirmation bias. They don't want correct information. They don't want data, logic, and reason. They want confirmation bias. They want to know that they just sold the bottom, and they want to hear sweet nothings that, you know what, it's going to be okay. You selling the bottom, that's okay, guys. Don't worry. Sell the bottoms. Let me just whisper sweet little nothings, tuck you into sleep that you selling the bottom is a good idea. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it. It's Calvin Hill, Crypto Bastard. September 30th, holding you to that. XYO prediction, 10 to 20 cents still, to this day. To this day. I was teasing you with a retail comment. 6 months. Yeah. No, I'm not playing. I ain't playing these stupid games every day. I just came out here with just straight fire and told you about all the death crosses because listen, you go on TikTok, go on Twitter, and you're going to search up death cross, and what you're going to see is you're going to see like, oh my God, it has death in it. Death! A death cross? Death! And what do we show? Like 5 of the 8 times was bullish. Absolutely, undeniably, face-meltingly bullish. If I'm very liberal leaning as my evaluation, 2 times are bearish. But my God, you have to really concede a lot. So XRP to 4 trillion, 8, no. VT still good, yes. What time do you normally go live so I can set my alarm? Okay, this week's schedule. Let me give you my schedule. So everything that I'm about to tell you is on the central time frame. You can join the Telegram, and I put out stuff. But for this week, here's my schedule for this week. This is when I will be live. I'll be live on YouTube, and I'll have a crappy phone experience for TikTok. And that's it. Okay, so today, 5 to 7. Monday will be 5 to 7 p.m. Central Time. The same time. Tuesday will be 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. Wednesday, 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time. Thursday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:30 with Alex. That is the wake up call. That's the show. And then Saturday will be 5 to 7. So that is going to be my schedule for this week. And will probably be something similar to that for the weeks to come, because that's sort of how I can do things with baseball. My kids play baseball. So there you go. Put that in there. So there you go. That's the schedule for this week, and probably something similar to that for the next couple of weeks. Thoughts on He seems to have bottomed. I think He has bottomed. Yes, I do think that that is the case. I've called my wife's boyfriend. I've canceled my wife's boyfriend's birthday so I can watch your stream. I appreciate that redemption. We'll set my alarm. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate your support, fam. Listen, I'm not, my channel is not for everyone. Listen, there are those channels that are popular, and then there's those that are correct. Do I get everything correct? No, I don't. I make mistakes, but I own up to them. If I make a mistake, I will absolutely, publicly address it. Publicly. I've done that. So I don't bat 1,000, but I would put my track record against anybody. Anybody. Listen, I'm not trying to be funny. I don't know a creator with a better track record than me. For the amount of bottoms that I've called and tops that I've called publicly. So there you go. I can count on one hand when I had a misread. It happens, and I own up to it when it does. But my goal in my channel is not to be anyone's savior. My goal is to teach you how to fish, and we will fish together rather than be a fisherman for you. Following from Australia, love your content. Thanks, fam. I hope you're camping in April. I should be. I'm waiting for my trees. They keep delaying. YouTube is much viewer quality. TikTok is full of weak losers who watch 2 minutes of the stream. Yeah, and they get like their butt hurt. I said their butthole. Their butt hurt. Thoughts on news. News is one of my top value plays. Thoughts on Z-Back. I don't know about Z-Back. I think we talked about it the last stream. I'm waiting for my trees to come in so that I can plant them, because I've ordered 20 trees. So whenever that happens, I'm going to go camping. They keep delaying it. I ordered it in February. It was supposed to be here. Yeah, I think that Z-Back has bottomed relatively. But I ordered them February 1st. They were supposed to be here at the end of February, and they keep delaying them. Right now, it's supposed to be mid-April when they come in. Parabolic for this is about a penny. So whenever they come in, I'm going to go to the farm. I'm going to go camping, and I'm going to... Damn, guys. That's about as clean of a breakout as you get on a chart. Don't draw them up like that too much. Breakout, back test, breakout again. Come on now. Don't draw them up like that too much. Let's look at news. Is up 3.5% today, 138. So it's having a nice little rally here. I think that news is bottom, is what I think. I think it's working on accumulation. Selling climax, secondary tests. That doesn't mean it's going to V-bottom out of here, but I think that the bottom is in for news. It's working on accumulation. The sign of strength would probably take you to a 55% move or so. Retracement is a 3x from here. And then parabolic is a 13.5x 002 cents. So that is 2 million-ish. $2.1 million market cap. Death Cross meaning. We went over this in the beginning of the live stream. Let's recover that. Well, let's recap this a little bit. A death cross means that the 50-day moving average, or the average price of Bitcoin for the last 50 days. So the 50-day moving average, which is, let's pull this up so you can see it. So this is the 50-day moving average right here. Crosses the 200-day moving average. So the average price of a particular project over the last either 200 days, and this is the last 50 days. So whenever the 50 moving average crosses the 200 moving average, they call this a death cross. And to me, this is a very misleading thing to call it, because you think death and you think it's negative. But we went over. So there's 8 death crosses that have happened in Bitcoin's history. And it's about to get the 9th. Okay. One of them, it was neutral. So that was number 3, was neutral. Bitcoin crashes 20% and it goes up 20%. Basically was just boring. So I would say that one was neutral. Number 3 was neutral. A little bit of volatility, but relatively nothing really happened. 2 of them were bearish. Number 2 was bearish. And number 6 was bearish. Number 2, though, like, I have to be very liberal in my justification for being bearish, because in reality, the cross happened on the 30th. The bottom was already in. And then this right here too. And so from this bottom, we didn't make a new low for 280 days. So saying it's bearish, that's a hard ask, but it was already down 66% by the time it did death cross. It took 300 days before it crashes another 50%. So that one we'll say is bearish, even though I'm being very loose with my determination of what bearish is. And then number 6 was also bearish. And then the rest of them were just flat out bullish. The other 5 times that it happened, the bottom was already in, and within 90 days, it did a 1x move. It's Solnick, not Solnick. Yes, right. LCX. I like LCX. I think it's a good value play right here. I'm talking about Solnick. Solnic. So there you go. That is the history. That's the recap. I'm making a video on this right now. I was trying to upload it before I went live, but I didn't want to. It was running late editing it. But I'm gonna upload that after the live stream is over, and it's a full deep dive on that. But basically, here's the synopsis. There's been 8 times. 5 of them were flat out bullish. One of them, I'm being very loose in calling it bearish. It really wasn't, but we'll call it bearish just for bear's sake. One of them was flat out bearish. And then the rest, one was neutral. But most of the time, this is what's happened. There you go. I know, right? What do you think is going to happen the next few weeks? Well, listen. So we know the saying. The saying is buy the rumor, sell the news, right? The saying is buy the rumor, sell the news, right? And typically what that means is like, this is how that actually happens. So X coin is going to do X partnership on X date. Right? Or X coin is going to do X development on X date. So the saying is you buy the rumor, and then when it actually happens, you sell. That's the saying. Right? And that's generally kind of what you see in the market. So this is a bullish thing. So if there's bullish news, you buy the rumor and you sell the news. That's the bullish thing. That's the narrative, right? And generally, this is kind of true. This kind of holds true. A lot of the best things in crypto were local tops. So the opposite of that would be when something is bearish. X event is going to happen on X date, and that's going to suck. Well, if buy the rumor, sell the news is true, I think that the opposite must be true. Sell the rumor and buy the event. And what event do we have in 2 days from now? Also, are we pumping into this event or are we dumping into this event? I would be very worried right now if we were pumping into this event. The fact that we are dumping into April 2nd, I think is very good. Very good. Jojo says, who sold? I have no clue. I don't care. My time horizon is not 2 minutes. My time horizon is not 2 days. My time horizon is not 2 weeks. My time horizon is not 2 months. My time horizon is not 2 years. My time horizon is 2+ decades. I don't care what happens in 2 minutes. What's your Bitcoin prediction for 2028, 2029 bull? $1 million. Depends on how high we go. Let's say, okay. Let's say Bitcoin does what I think it's going to do. So that would mean that Bitcoin's going to go to $207,000, and let's say it comes back to $60,000 Okay, let's say it goes to $207,000 and it comes back to $60,000. That's kind of what I think is going to happen. Somewhere in that neighborhood. Well, 2028 would be about 600K. It'd be about 400 to 600K. If it goes lower to 50K, I think is the absolute best case scenario, as in the most amount of Bitcoins that you're possibly going to get. That would take you to about $625,000. So 4 to 600K is my 2028 prediction. Do you think we'll ever be in the swing into the bull run? Yes. Sell the rumor, buy the event. Also, I would like to pair that. What month is the most bullish month in cryptocurrency? There's two. There's two that outperform the stock market by themselves by 5 years. It's April and it's November. April and November, the average return is about 40%. That's about 5 years of stock market gains. It's 2 decades. We're all going to be in nursing homes by then. Bro, I'll be 50. I'll still be young. What about Phantom? I think Phantom is good, solid. Very good structurally. Ski, are we very good structurally? How do you think we can improve timing? In what regard? Specifically, what is the context of what you're talking about? What is the context specifically that you're talking about? Isn't QE coming too? QE is coming as well. There's lots of reasons to be bullish, but no one is. But I'm not going to make that mistake. I think that 76K, my theory, my thesis, 76K was the bottom. Now, that's the structural bottom. That's the structural bottom. So let me be very clear about my analysis. Okay? I believe that this is the selling climax right here. So February 28th, when we went to 78K, that to me was your selling climax. I'm going to go on the 5-hour chart and I'm going to show you this. We went over this a couple of days ago. Well, let's show Wyckoff. The rules of Wyckoff. Selling climax is your bottom. The secondary test goes lower. So even though technically this is a lower price than the selling climax is your bottom. That is your structural bottom. Okay? So my analysis, this is our selling climax. One reason that I'm quite certain that this is the selling climax, I'm on the 5-hour chart now. Look at how red this got on the RSI. We got all the way to 11. All the way to 11. We haven't been that low since the Japan rate cut, which also was a bottom, which also was a secondary test, selling climax. Okay? So this to me was your selling climax, and then this is your secondary test. The secondary test textbook goes lower than the selling climax. This is your bottom. Even though this goes lower. Understand the difference between structure and price. So when I say that the bottom is in, that is what I mean. Could we get a spring? Sure. Do I think we will? No, I don't. But could we get something like this and the bottom still be in? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. This is your most common structure. Sometimes you get this structure. Hold on. Sometimes you get this structure right here. Selling climax, secondary test, spring. It'd be on a downtrend. is what people would say. So when I say that the bottom is in, this is what I mean. Structural bottom. The bottom is in. The bottom is in. Bro. Okay. I'm gonna do this one more time. I'm gonna do this one more time. It has nothing to do with good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. Every time, the local bottom on all 8 of these death crosses was in. All 8 of them. One of them took 231 days before a new low came in and did a 50% move to the upside. I'm being very liberal calling this bearish. It's not really, but I will just call it. This one went down 40%. But the bottom was already in right here before going 50% to the upside. Or excuse me, it was 35%, I believe. Okay, this move right here, 35% move. From here to here, 40%. All of them, the micro bottom was in. 5 were face-meltingly bullish. And 1 was neutral. So no, it's not good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. It's most of the time the bottom's in. It has more to do with the structure of where we're at in the market than the actual death cross. Is Josh Mendeley's 440K prediction even mathematically possible for this cycle? Yeah, I think it's mathematically possible. I don't think it's a crazy I don't think it's a crazy number for mathematics. It's not like, XRP Army saying, 589 trillion or whatever the case is. That's not what I think's happening. So let's see. Where is 444,000? I don't think that it's a crazy number. I'm not going to be waiting for that. So that's a 4.5x. I don't think that that's a crazy number mathematically. Where is the market cap of Bitcoin? Let's see here if I can find it. What would the market cap need to be? Here we go. What did I say? 44.5%, 4.5x. So Bitcoin right now is at 1.63 trillion. In order to get a 4.5x, that's a $9 trillion, basically $9 trillion. I don't think that that's likely, but I don't think that that's mathematically insanity either, right? I don't think that that's a mathematical insanity. That's not what I don't think that that's likely to happen. I don't think that that's probable to happen. But I'm not mad at that target. I don't think that there's a crazy, that's some silly stuff would have to happen in order for that to happen. I don't think so. What do you think, Sol, local bottom? I mean, I generally think that the market is bottoming right now. Structural. What do you think, ETH bottoms? Again, ETH bottomed on, what day was that? March 20. What day did ETH bottom? I guess it was right here. Again, this was your bottom to me. March 11th. This is your structural bottom for Ethereum. We might make a little bit lower low on a secondary test or something like that. But relatively, that was your bottom. And I bet if I put it on the 5 hour, This was actually your bottom over here. It was. So we have a divergence with Ethereum right now. So you have this low right here. Yeah, you go lower, but the RSI is higher. You go lower again, but the RSI is higher. That's a divergence. Is Soldic ever going to do anything? It's doing pretty good right now. It's outperforming the entire market. Oh no, a death cross. No, that's on the 5 hour. There isn't even a 200. That's a clean breakout. That's what that is. It's a clean breakout right there. Why do you use the 5 hour chart? Because everyone uses the 4 hour chart. I don't want to be looking at, just from my experience, it's a little bit it's okay. I'll be honest with you. It's a little bit woo-woo in that 5s are more important in numerology than 4s. But it's a practical thing. I don't want to be looking at the same thing that everyone else is looking at. I want to have a different perspective. And if I come to the same conclusion from a different perspective, then that's fine. But I don't look at the 4 hour at all. I look at the 3 hour and I look at the 5 hour. Because I don't want to be influenced by what everyone else is, by the collective conscience. What is your Telegram? Daniel, could you please drop the link for that, please? If and when it's only hits 10 cents this bull run, I have 35 to 50 cents the next bull run. Thoughts? I still think we could hit 50 cents this bull market, but I think if we're going to do it, it's going to take multiple legs. What does a breakout mean? It means that it broke a downtrend. It means it's no longer in a downtrend. It's now in an uptrend. It's a pretty violent one, too. Why not use the 1 hour? I do sometimes, but 1 hour, really, the only time I look at the 1 hour, that's too small of a time frame, honestly, for me. The only time I look at the 1 hour, really, damn, ADA has a really good looking chart, by the way, is if I'm really trying to see, like, man, was that moment the absolute bottom? I'll look at the 1 hour for like trying to pinpoint a scary event that just happened. I'll be like, I'll look at the 1 hour to try to pinpoint a certain moment in time to being an hour. But I don't generally look at the hour. I think it's too small of a time frame, personally. Generally, 3 hour is about as low as I like to go. By the way, we just had a cross on the 3 hour chart on the RSI to the upside. We're about to have one on the 5 hour chart to the upside for Bitcoin. These are bullish things. Thanks for subscribing. Yes, Savage, I appreciate you.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah.
Ski, do you watch Crypto Mason TA? Does Crypto Mason do TA? I'm not trying to be funny. Ski, do you happen to know what was the fear and greed on the first leg down into the bear market? So you're talking about 2021. So okay, let's define clearly what you're talking about here. What moment in time are you talking about? Okay, so when you say the first leg down, are you calling this the top right here? Because this is what I call the top. and this is just an up thrust? Or are you calling this first leg down the top? So are you calling November leg down, or are you calling April leg down? April of 2021. Let me know what the specific time frame you're talking about, and I will tell you. So in April it was 73, and November it was 76, but it already peaked pre to that in December of 20. It got all the way to 92 according to this chart. And that would be an indication, right? So like price goes higher, fear and greed goes lower. So that's a divergence right there. That's something to be mindful of. November, it was at 78. But it already had peaked over here. It already peaked at 93. When was this? Oh, no, it got to 95. Okay, February 16th was the peak of fear and greed. February 16th got to 95 on the fear and greed. And again, that's more indication that this is the actual top right here. So right here was the top of fear and greed. 95. So this is a divergence, right? Fear and greed doesn't go higher, but the price does. That'd be something to look out for in the future, right? Price is going higher, fear and greed is not. But this to me is not your top over here. I know that this is the highest that we went. I've talked about this a lot on my channel, but November, this is distribution is what that is. Okay. Realistically, this is what we got for Bitcoin. You have your buying climax, your automatic reaction, your secondary test, your sign of weakness. Your upthrust goes higher than the buying climax. Buying climax is the climax of the buys, the top. The upthrust goes higher though. Okay? That's what you got. Buying climax, automatic reaction, secondary test. This was your upthrust. The upthrust goes higher than the buying climax. This is the real top over here, though. This is the real top. The real deal top. This is the top. This is an upthrust. This is a liquidity movement. There's other reasons that I know that this is true. Right? If we look on Google, Google Trends, but this is a reason, too, that the bottom's not in. By the way. Or that the bottom is in. If you type in Bitcoin. Look how low this is, by the way. Oh, this is today. Let me go on the 5-year. Hold on. So this is the lowest we've been right now, currently, since October of 2024. I want you to put that in perspective. By the way, what was October of 2020? Real quick, before we do this, what happened October 2024? Anybody know? Oh, yeah, that's right before we broke out. Here's October of 2024. Come on now. The lowest we've been since October of 2024. But I want to show you. It was really crypto. It wasn't even Bitcoin, but that's okay. Crypto was the real thing, but that's okay. Look, this is April, May. The actual top got the highest it was, and look at November. No, I got the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. I screwed this up. Crypto. I've done this before. Here we go. This is the one. Look at this. April and May. The absolute top of Google searches. And then look at this. This is November. This is a retracement. Look at crypto, by the way. Just in the dumps. That's what a top looks like, guys. That's what a top looks like. Crypto being at 18 out of 100. Come on, man. Come on, man. We're at the bear market lows, guys. When retail is searching crypto, it's time to get out. This one ain't nothing but a little retracement. Ain't nothing but a chicken wing. We're at 19. The same that we were in 2023 and 2022 and the entire bear market. But yeah, this retracement, the point of this in November went to 71. It was a retracement of the actual peak. This is why we know that this was the top. This was an upthrust. That's the point of that. Believe it or not, Crypto Mason has a trading class. I believe he does. I do believe you. Sometimes, you have to teach in order to learn. That's a thing. So. Man, I didn't know that he was known for his TA. I really didn't. So. That's good that he's teaching people how to draw lines, how to draw squiggly lines. Step 1, 2, and 3. Listen, guys, there's a difference between trend lines, indicators. That to me that's not TA. Those are tools to use to aid you in your TA. That's not TA though. TA is not, and I get in this trap too. I'm going to be honest. I get in this trap of like, I'm a content creator and a technical analyst. Sometimes there's really nothing to report. And I'll just like look at the moving averages, but that's not real TA. It's not. What's real TA is looking at different structures and finding the same sort of structures and what happened from this. Right? Like an example would be what I think we're doing the same exact structure right now that we just did. And what is that structure? That is the structure of the war in Israel versus right now. I think it's the same thing. By the way, that was like a thing too. Like, oh my God, here's this scary event that's going to happen. It's going to nuke everything. And they just talked about that forever. We went over this the last live stream, but here it is. This is the same structure that we had. Like, verbatim. Candle for candle. All right, on the top we have Bitcoin present during March of 2023 through November of 2023. This was right after the war in Israel. So this bottom right here was the war in Israel. Okay? And then so these are both on the daily. We could probably do the 5-hour chart, but we'll leave it on the daily because I do think that it's probably working on this right here is what I think, actually. That's what I think. But we'll leave it on the daily. So on the top is the war in Israel. On the bottom is what I'm calling the tariff. But basically it's Bitcoin from November of 2024 till present day. So you have your peak on right here. You have your peak right here. Then you have a peak that goes a little bit higher than the peak. Okay, you got that too. Peak that goes a little bit higher than the peak. Then you have your creek, and then huge, violent selling climax. Huge, violent selling climax. Again, why do we know that it's a selling climax? Because the RSI went lower right here. Damn it, I did not mean to do that. Okay, we're good. The RSI goes lower right here. Even though the price goes lower, the RSI was as red as it got. And the reason I like to look on the bottom on the 5-hour chart is I'll show you. Look at this. Look at how red it was. 13 in here. Selling climax. And then you start going. You make another low, but the RSI is higher. You make another low, but the RSI is higher. Okay? Selling climax. Secondary test. Okay, we're going to go back to the daily. And then you get a higher high right here. A higher low. I think that's what we're working on right now. You get another higher high. Maybe over here. A higher low again. Before breaking out. This is real TA. Squiggly lines is not TA. Trend lines is not TA. Moving averages is not TA. That's tools to aid you and to say, like, what happened during these times. What will happen first? Bitcoin 120K or your trees get delivered? Probably my trees, I hope. My God. Next beard bet. I still have one. 120K, 118K before 70K or I'll shave my beard. As in, I think they both happen. Bitcoin doesn't need more parabolic for it to go to 5 to 89. I think it would help, but it could happen. This bull market or the next? This bull market or the next. So you go. That's where I think we're at, guys. I think we're somewhere in this moment right here. This pullback right here. This higher low after your secondary test. So this is, to me, is your secondary test. Let's label it out. Okay. To me, this is your selling climax. Then you get a secondary test. Higher high. And then a higher low. So somewhere right in here is where I think that we're at. Maybe here, but I think this is the one that we're at. That's exactly where I think Bitcoin is. Like, this structure is uncanny. So, there you go. That's where I think that we're at. This is what Bitcoin did, by the way. Ski, what was the Simpsons prediction? 589. 589. All right, guys. I'm going to go have dinner with the fam. Reminder, tomorrow I will be live 5 p.m. Central Time. 5 to 7 Central Time. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I will never message you first. TikTok has lost its chart privileges for the next 6 months. September 30th, 2025. If they get their crap together, they will get the charts back. But for now, they have lost their privileges for the next 6 months. So if you want the best viewing experience, it will be here on YouTube. I'm not playing any more games. Gator don't take no shit. All right, guys. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless.